Today we're diving into Woody Allen's 1979 film, Manhattan.
Right.
But we're not just here for, a simple look back. We've got this really interesting emphasis suggesting the movie's romantic plots are actually a way to explore something, well, deeper.
Yeah, something about urban life, right? The mix of like beauty and this sort of underlying sadness, especially in New York City.
Exactly. So the source we're using argues it's less a straight rom-com and more like a cinematic essay almost.
A poem, yeah. That's a good way to put it. A poem about living in this huge, vibrant city, but also dealing with how messy and temporary human connections can be.
So our mission today really is to unpack that. How does the film use its visuals, that amazing black and white, and the music, Gershwin, and the dialogue to make New York feel almost mythical? And how does it weave that together with these, universal feelings of beauty and melancholy?
Okay, so let's start with the city itself. This idea that New York isn't just scenery, it's a character.
Oh, absolutely. The analysis really hammers this home. It's central. And it kicks off with the choice of black and white, which is, well, pretty striking. Gordon Willis.
Yeah, brilliant cinematographer. And it wasn't just like an aesthetic whim. It feels deliberate. It sort of distills the city down.
How so?
Well, think about it. The bridges, the avenues, Central Park, without color, they become these stark, almost monumental forms. Yeah. Like enduring structures against, everything else.
Right. Less distraction, more focus on the shape, the architecture.
Yeah, exactly. Monuments.
But it's not just the big iconic shots, is it? The analysis mentions Isaac's voiceover, his kind of personal reflections.
His love for the city.
Yeah, the late night walks, looking at the East River, finding those little quiet cafes. It feels very intimate.
Totally. And the beauty the film captures isn't always the obvious bustling New York energy. It's often subtle.
Like what?
Like the way streetlights hit wet pavement or those long shadows or reflections on the water. It gives it this painterly feel, almost nostalgic.
Like you're looking at a memory.
Yeah, precisely, even while it's happening.
And then there's the music. You just can't talk about Manhattan without Gershwin.
Oh, impossible.
Yeah.
Rhapsody in Blue, that opening. It's like the city's theme song.
It's more than a soundtrack, though, isn't it? The analysis says it's like the emotional heartbeat.
It really is. It swells up in those hopeful moments, when connections are being made.
But it also underlines the worry, the sadness.
Absolutely. There's often this layer of uncertainty, even despair, under the surface, and the music just gets that perfectly. It's this blend of the image, the sound, and maybe our own sort of cultural baggage about what New York means.
So we've got this undeniable beauty, this sort of visual and auditory feast. But then there's the other side, the melancholy. The analysis insists it's always there, under the witty banter.
Yes, and that's key. That's what makes it more complex than just, boy meets girl.
Yeah.
There's this persistent ache, almost.
And Isaac embodies a lot of that, right? Turning 40, the divorces.
Yeah, he's grappling with aging. There's that internal monologue bit where he thinks about how New York seems timeless, unchanging.
Well, he's definitely not.
Right. He's getting older, things are ending, but the city, the buildings, they just stand there. It's that stark contrast.
The permanent city versus the temporary human experience.
Exactly, that duality.
And this seems to color his relationship with Tracy, the younger woman.
Oh, definitely. He's very aware of the age gap, the potential weirdness, maybe even projecting his own needs onto her.
Is the melancholy then about wanting something you can't really hold on to?
I think that's a big part of it. This desire for permanence, for something solid, in a world where things are constantly shifting. You see it in that really sad scene in Central Park with his ex-wife.
Where she says, it was in Spanish in the source.
Te sigo queriendo, pero me doy cuenta de que ya no somos las personas que éramos.
Which is basically, I still love you, but I realize we're not the same people anymore.
Exactly. It's just heartbreaking. People change. They grow apart. You can't go back.
That acceptance of loss, of imperfection, that's where the melancholy lives.
Right. It's not just sadness. It's a kind of wisdom, maybe. A painful one.
Now, the film's structure, it jumps around a bit, doesn't it? Flashbacks, voiceovers.
Yeah, it's not straightforward A to B storytelling. And that seems very intentional. It reflects how memory actually works.
I see.
Kind of, yeah. Subjective, fragmented. Our lives aren't neat narratives. And the film sort of mirrors that. It uses flashbacks, parallel editing.
Like when we see his first dates with Mary, but they're cut together with bits of his divorce.
Exactly. It shows how the past is always bleeding into the present, influencing everything, whether we like it or not.
And all the characters seem to be carrying their own baggage, their own ghosts.
Totally. Isaac's failed relationships, obviously. Mary's career worries, her insecurities. Even Yale, who seems successful, has this deep loneliness.
And New York is the place where all these drifting people kind of bump into each other.
It's the stage for these fleeting encounters, these tangled lives.
Does the fact that happiness seems so brief in the film make the melancholy stronger?
I think it does. Those moments of connection are beautiful, but there's always this underlying sense that they might not last. They're fragile.
Which brings us to the ending, maybe, with Isaac and Tracy.
Yeah, that final scene is incredible. Dawn, the slow pullback of the camera.
Tracy reciting a poem.
And Isaac's face. It's acceptance, isn't it? He knows it might not be forever. There's that line again in Spanish.
Sé que no estamos hechos el uno para el otro, pero no importa. Este momento es suficiente.
I know we're not made for each other, but it doesn't matter. This moment is enough. Wow.
That really sums it up, doesn't it? The beauty is in being present right now.
And the melancholy is knowing that right now is all it might be. It highlights the transience.
The source material also picked out some key quotes that kind of crystallize these ideas.
Yeah, little nuggets of dialogue that really pack a punch. Like Isaac's line about New York.
Oh, the cynical one.
New York is the most beautiful city in the world, except for its inhabitants. Something like that.
Yeah. Captures that love-hate thing perfectly.
And then Tracy pushes back against being dismissed because she's young.
Right. Just because I'm young, you think life is simpler for me.
It's a great line. Challenges his assumptions. Everyone's got their stuff.
And Mary talking about finding friends being harder than finding work in New York?
Mm-hmm. That speaks to the potential for urban loneliness, doesn't it? Surrounded by people, but isolated.
Then there's Isaac again, appreciating the little things.
The overlooked moments, like people talk about Paris, but they've never seen a taxi glide under the Queensboro Bridge at dawn.
Finding beauty in the everyday. I love that.
Yeah, it's about perspective. And Yale's line about real loneliness.
That was heavy. True loneliness isn't being alone. It's being surrounded by people and feeling completely invisible.
Oof, yeah. So that adds another layer to that melancholy we keep talking about.
Okay, so wrapping this up, it feels like Manhattan is really two love letters in one.
How do you mean?
Well, one to the city itself, obviously. The look, the feel of it.
Right.
But also a love letter to the emotions the city brings out in us. The complexity.
Yeah, that's well put. The beauty isn't just the skyline. It's also that feeling when you see your own contradictions, your own desires, kind of reflected in the city's energy or its quiet corners.
And the melancholy isn't necessarily a bad thing here. It's a nuance.
Exactly. It adds depth. It makes the joy, the desire, feel more real, more earned, maybe because it's tinged with this awareness of fragility.
And the filmmaking itself, the black and white, the jazz, Isaac's inner thoughts, it all works together so masterfully.
It really does. And that core contrast holds true. The city feels permanent, enduring.
While the people within it are just passing through, their lives, their relationships are fleeting.
It's a constant reminder of time passing, which paradoxically makes the present moment feel more valuable.
So the beauty the film ultimately finds isn't just in pretty pictures.
No, it's in recognizing how temporary everything is. There's a kind of sad beauty in that awareness itself.
So a final thought, maybe for you listening.
Yeah, perhaps think about your own city, or just a place you know well. Try looking at it differently after this.
Seek out those small details, the overlooked beauty Isaac talks about.
Listen to the sounds, the music that feels like your city's soundtrack. And maybe reflect on your own experiences there, the past moments.
Understanding that things change, things end, and maybe that's exactly what makes life and those moments so precious.